Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you the Tangle Auraknot. I'm going to use my new Tom Studio Lumos Duo pen. Really nice pen. Unscrew the top here, and on this end I have a 05 nib and black ink. Okay, so with Auraknot, I'm going to do it so we've got sort of like a six-pointed star, but I'm not going to make it too even. So I'm just going to come up and down. It doesn't matter where or how you do these, I suppose, arms of the star. I've said six-pointed only because it seems to be a nice sort of shape. As you can see, it's more like a starfish. Okay, so I've got that. It's very uneven, and that's absolutely fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen, guide it over the top, and I'm going to join this point to this point, like so. Okay. And now, staying with this line, I'm going to aura this line. I'm going to take it nice and steady, aura, like so. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this very, very slightly. Imagine that this line was going underneath, and I'm now going to join this one underneath, and I'm going to aura. When I get to that line, I'm going to stop, take my pen over the top, and then guide it. I'm going to carry on around this starfish shape, join that point to point, and then aura, and you do the holly bore technique of looking like you draw underneath. As you can see, this lovely pen draws beautifully and feels very firm in my hand and very comfortable. And it's very easy to start doing the aura before you've actually joined this point across to this one. And just very steadily, I try and keep the auras around about the same size. So these ones, you can't join point to point, but you can see where the line needs to go. And you're going to come back that way. And you know what I've done? I've done the aura incorrectly here, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like this. So this is showing you that it doesn't matter if you make a little bit of a mistake. Once we've done it, that really won't show. So the first one that we ever did is always going to be the one that's sitting on the top here. So now I can go back to this one and I can start my aura along here. And this time this aura will look like it goes underneath, doesn't it? Okay, turn, and I'm always going to sort of the left of my starfish arms. Bring this down this way. I'm sure some of you who know Auraknot and are watching this are going, oh no, she missed that little bit. If you know me well enough, I don't get worked up if there's a line that maybe lands in the wrong place. So I'm adding my aura, and this one I'm going to send. See, this is the one where I went a little bit askew, so I'm going to send it all the way up there. I've now got a continual line going there, and it really doesn't matter if things aren't exact. It's about the process. So enjoy just adding one line after another, and I can keep going round. I'm now back to the beginning, because there's my top line, which will show where my original starting point was, because otherwise all the other lines all tuck under each other. And you get this sort of intricate, so now I can come here, intricate, sort of plaited look. And I think I'm almost done with this. And I'm going to do one more here. And I'm now back to the beginning. So you can carry on and you can keep going right to the centre, but I thought what I would do is I would ink in these sections here. And as I say, I'm using a 05 nib in the Lumos Duo. I'm going to move away from the ink so it has time to dry. And I don't smudge it with my hand. Auraknot's very, very forgiving as a tangle. You can do it with almost any sort of pointy shape, really. I'm going to do that there. And then in the centre, I'm just going to ink this centre in as well. So it's going to be quite bold. I like adding, you know, when you're tangling, it's nice to add a little bit of solid ink. Gives it some strength to your tangling. It doesn't look sort of floaty and wishy-washy. And so that's gone beautifully there. So that gives that nice centerpiece there. And what I'm going to add now is to sort of give something around the edge. I am going to, and I'm deciding this at the time, I'm going to add an orb in the base of each of these little dips, add a little bit of rounding. It's like adding a little ring setting for a pearl. Into that, ink in the little space underneath. So we've drawn Auraknot. I'm now adding a few little pearls that have been dropped into, alongside that starfish. It's funny how you don't tangle with any idea of it being representational, but sometimes something pops up that it reminds you. So a starfish and some pearls. And I like, when tangling, I do like it if something is symmetrical, but I also absolutely love it when it takes on its own life, that unique shape. Sometimes people say, oh no, it's lopsided, it's not even. That makes it unique, it makes it yours, it gives it some vitality and some life. So I'm just going to dab those. Okay, so we've put those orbs into there, and I'm now going to add, and in fact I'm going to change my pen. This is the beauty of the Duo. Pop the top in there, and then I can split this. And what I have is I have a very fine 02 nib. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some Indyrella. So I'm going to pop a little dot, do a little dot, and then do an aura over the top. And you can start adding another aura, and they get bigger and bigger. And now I'm going to start making them smaller again. Smaller, and you can guide this in whichever direction you want. And I'm going to do that again here. Little dot. Do you know what I can see here? I can see a gnome face. There's its nose and two eyes. Now you can't unsee it, can you? We'll change that in a minute. And if we don't, it doesn't matter. It's quite fun. See, sometimes, as I said just now, something pops up and you think, oh no, that's quite funny. I didn't intend that, and now I can't unsee it either. It's the fun of tangling. We don't want to be taking it too serious because, you know, it's adding ink to a piece of paper, enjoying that process, enjoying what is appearing in front of you, not worried about, is it perfect, is it not? It will never be perfect, and I wouldn't want it to be perfect. I don't want you to tangle perfectly, and that might sound really funny or unkind, but you know, if you tangle, draw just what comes to you, that makes it special. That's your creativity. And the more mistakes you make, the more little changes that happen, the more individual your work becomes. And I think it sparks more creativity. If you tangle, draw a lot, inevitably you will, and I'll say it, you will make mistakes. Fantastic. Oops. Fantastic. I bashed my camera then, holder. Sorry that it went a bit wonky. You get me as it is. You get me as it is. This is real. This is real life. We're not doing, again, teaching. I can guarantee all Zentangle teachers get things wrong, get things muddled up. It's what makes us human. And that's lovely. That's really lovely. I think it's important to show that side of ourselves. See how pretty that is. Now it's just starting to come together, adding a little bit of something more delicate. These little Indyrella, they are really cute little things to add. You can make them long and thin, you can make them really big and chunky, you can make them fat, you can make them skinny, and they sort of fit in next to each other. Okay, I think I've almost got there. So there's my little Indyrella. I can now close up this pen, so I'm unscrew that goes back into there, and that is my pen all beautifully tidied away. Let's just pop that up the top here. Now I'm going to get my pencil and we're going to do some shading. Now, because we've got on the Auraknot, let's look at the Auraknot first of all. You've got a lot of lines meeting, so I'm going to find that first top line, which is here, okay, here. And I'm going to say, well, the one below it, here, I'm going to add a little bit of graphite here. So almost like where the plait crosses. Get my tortillon, soften that down towards the bottom of the arms. That's the first bit. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit just in that one as well. When you add your graphite, use the side of your pencil, not the point. So the reason for that is if you use the point, you can press the paper fibres and you won't be able to blend your graphite. You want, when you first start, you want to basically sit the graphite particles on top of the paper fibres, and then you can fix it in with your tortillon, and that allows it to blend. Whereas if you've compressed the paper with the point of your pencil, you'll just get a solid line. You won't be able to shift it. And that's just a bit of a pain, to be honest. And we've all done it at some point. But the more you remind yourself to use the side of your pencil. The more you do it sort of naturally. And that goes with all tangling when I'm talking about doing things naturally. We all started somewhere. We all started at the beginning with those first tangles, not really understanding it, not really knowing how our pens worked, how our pencils worked, the Zentangle method. And we learn as we go along, so the more you tangle, the more confident you become. Your hand-eye coordination improves. Your confidence, your drawing confidence, your self-confidence. And I would just say, just keep tangling. Okay, so this is the one where I made a little bit of a mistake on the video. Hey, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really show unless you're actually telling people. I'm now going to go and here, where the lines, good rule for shading is where the lines start, finish, or converge. So they all finish along there. That's like that. They all finish along here. Here. Obviously not there because that's a holly border line. So by adding the shade there, can you see how it looks like it goes underneath? And here, and here. So adding the dark means that it tucks this underneath and you start getting this nice sort of 3D shape. It looks really cute. It looks really lovely, doesn't it? And along here. And then what we can do is we can go to the inner section of this Auraknot in here, and we can look for the same where the lines finish. So here, here, basically just the ends of those ribbons. Nice control of your tortillon. Just use a little bit of pressure. It helps if you've got a sort of pointy tortillon so you can get into the little spaces. As soon as your tortillon starts going blunt and you haven't got any accuracy with it, get rid of it. Get a new one, they're not that expensive. Because if you keep persevering with a blunt one, you'll just get frustrated because you won't have the accuracy to be able to blend your graphite. Oh, lovely. Okay, so that's our Auraknot, and now it's glowing. It's got a bit of life to it. I'm going to go to the orbs. I'm going to put a little C curve of graphite on all of them. And then I'm going to blend that in that C curve so it's darker on one side. Just a little bit of pressure. Some tiles respond more rapidly to the graphite. You'll get a sense of what pressure you need. It's on that little orb. And now with your little Indyrellas, choose one side. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to, for this one, I'm just going to pop a little bit of graphite down those sides like that. I'm just going to soften that there. And you're going to do that on all of them. So you're basically adding graphite, it's like adding a little shadow just to one side of these lovely, delicate little Indyrellas. And again, that brings those to life. So from the flat 2-dimensional ink, by adding some graphite, adding some shade, we create a 3-dimensional image. So I've got one more to do, or 3 really, isn't it? But one section of Indyrellas. Soften there. Put my pencil and my torchon to one side. I'm just going to get my pen again, and I'm going to, I finished it, so now I'm just going to sign it with my chop for Zenjo. And you can just put your initials, and this just means you own it, you've created it. And then you can sign and date on the back. And that is Auraknot with Indyrella. Thank you very much.